Right, you lucky people. Here is my Japanese style potato salad. So in Japan we use smaller, waxier potatoes. These ones are a little bit bigger, but something around the same, new potatoes I think they call them, or brushed. I'm also putting in some cherry tomatoes along with my carrot, cucumber and spring onions as per usual. And of course, the Kewpie mayonnaise is number one. So we start by boiling the water for our potatoes. I like to cut them up pretty small because we will be doing a bit of a mash as well. I also like to use a spoon to take the skin off the potatoes. It's just faster and easier. And so we'll chop them up about thumb size, maybe a little bit bigger. But yeah, like I said, we will semi-mash it, as they do in Japan, the Japanese style, so it doesn't need to be too uniform. Chuck them in the water cold and then bring it up to the boil. Now with the carrot, what we're going to do is actually grate it. So I leave it that length, and then I'll grate that after this. I'll cut up my spring onions. I'll use the spring onions as a garnish and also to mix through the potato salad. So we'll get some nice finer white bits there, and we'll also cut some longer green bits too. It's very slow motion cutting. Right, I'll put those in a bowl and I'll move on to the cucumber. Now the cucumber has a lot of water in it, so what we need to do is kind of keep it a bit smaller. So I'll cut it down the middle like this. And then we're looking at about a 2 mil kind of triangle. And that way you don't lose too much water in the potato salad. Right, now let's grate the carrot. We'll grate the whole carrot up like this. And what's really important, what you need to do now is wring it out. Get as much of that carrot juice out as you can. Because like I said with the cucumber, the water will create a bit of an issue for you. It'll be all wet and can be a little bit slimy around the potatoes. It's beautiful carrot juice too, so I just drank that. Next, I've just got a few tomatoes, but I'll cut them up into tiny little eighths, I think it is. So just small little bursts of sweetness. My nice slow cutting again. Now once the potatoes are done, I like to put a little bit of butter in it. Let that butter melt and give it a little bit of mash like that. So it's semi-mashed, you've still got some chunky bits in there too. Then I'll chuck in the other ingredients all together and give them a good mix up. Doesn't have to be perfect yet, but I like to use the same pot as I did for doing the potatoes. It just makes it all a little bit easier. But for serving, I will put it in a big bowl. Now normally in the restaurant we'll put it into lots and lots of little bowls, so when someone orders one we just pull it out of the fridge. Okay, now it's time for the main event, and that is the Kewpie mayonnaise. So the amount you want for this is probably about 1/4 to 1/3 of a cup. And as you put it in, you can taste it and kind of get an idea for it, but it creates a real big difference. It's a little bit sweeter than normal mayonnaise. Right, as you can see, we're nice and mixed through, but still quite chunky, which is great because you get that burst of sweetness from the tomato. Now we just finish it off with a little bit more spring onion, and there it is. So what we normally do in the restaurant is leave it, put it in the fridge to serve it cold. But here you can have it warm. It goes really well with grilled fish, katsu chicken and pork. And it's just the best side that you can have. Thanks very much. We'll see you on the next one.